Active FM. Radio has never been better.
What is up?
Hey guys,
This is the movie show.
on your favorite ORSPS.
Active FM. I'm Sash.
My name's Ryan,
and we are reviewing Dungeons and Dragons.
and we were looking forward to this film.
Yes.
Because ILM was involved.
I did not know that. That's
Yes.
so cool.
That
I
was-
was just looking forward to
Yes.
this film because, first of all, Stranger Things, D&D. Second of all, Rege Jean Page. Third of all, Hugh Grant. Yeah.
And 3 directors.
That's the crazy part, right? Was it direct? No, there were 2 directors, 3 writers, wasn't it?
Was it 3 writers?
John and Jonathan were the directors.
I just saw an interview with the directors and I saw...
But there were 3 writers, yeah. So this is a 2023 fantasy adventure film that lasts for 2 hours and 14 minutes.
And apparently this idea has been coming from 2013 already.
Yes. Yeah.
How
This film
crazy is
that is
that?
crazy. This film has been in production since 2013.
And Dwayne Johnson was involved
I'm
along the
so
line.
glad that did not happen. Because we would have just had another Jumanji.
Plus the previous
let's be honest.
actors. Because
Then there would have been a forest
the
involved.
mystical forest.
The whole thing would have been in the forest.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm really glad that fell through. What happened was, I think previously it was with Paramount, or did it come to Paramount?
When it got sold, when Paramount took it on, then
So previously it was with, was it Warner Brothers?
Who knows?
I can't remember. But
those
yeah.
guys.
But then, Shane, Paramount took it over and they were like, nope, we don't want any of those other ideas. And they literally recast, restarted everything.
And they did it.
Yeah. So
Did it.
And this isn't actually the first Dungeons and Dragons film. This is actually the 4th Dungeons and Dragons film, and it's also a reboot. I don't know what reboot it was of, but I know that all previous Dungeons and Dragons films have not done that well, hence we don't really know about them.
So they had guts making this.
Yeah, they did. They definitely
But it
did.
looked like they had a lot of fun though.
No, they had a
It
lot
looked like
of
it was
fun.
a lot of fun.
And I also saw an interview though where a lot of it was practical effects
Yeah.
and like puppets, as opposed to all of it being CG, which I thought was pretty cool.
Yeah.
Because
We've discussed that before.
Yeah.
It helps with the acting because imagine trying to be afraid of a tennis ball versus being afraid of this big dragon.
this
Even if it's fake, I
It
think
still helps, yeah.
yeah.
because now it
Smart
definitely
move.
still
And there's
helps.
some funny looking monsters and
For me, it was the
Yeah.
overweight dragon that got me. I was finished. And you know that is an actual monster, as in the size and all is an actual monster from D&D.
I love that piece, especially the physics.
Yeah.
Because of the way this thing just sort of rolled.
Yes.
Then it. I enjoy. It was actually very, very amusing.
It was very amusing.
In fact, I would say if you were going to make a Dungeons and Dragons trailer, that's it.
That's the piece. Actually, that would have been the piece. Definitely, that would have been.
Gotta watch this. Watch this.
Like, yeah, no, but it was a very cool film. And okay, I personally have never played Dungeons and Dragons. I know about Dungeons and Dragons, and this
Yeah.
is going to be so
Because of another movie.
because of Stranger Things.
Yeah.
But I have watched Dungeons and Dragon campaigns. So I actually have watched the game being played. I haven't played it, but I have watched the game be played, and I wouldn't mind playing it. I just don't have the right.
I was gonna say we should
become campaigners. Should run our own campaign.
How do you get the game?
I think there are. So there's a board game version.
That's what I'm talking about.
But I think there are online, because there's different versions of Dungeons and Dragons that have come out, and like the world that this one was set in is a world from Dungeons and Dragons, but like there are because the game's been around for a long time, so there's been like. Do you understand what I'm saying? The game hasn't been kept the same. Like they've done like remakes and,
upgrades and stuff.
And obviously different campaigns have happened and there's been different. So like the writers of the film were involved with like people who are into D&D.
I thought that was cool.
Yeah, that's very cool.
Yeah.
And so have you ever played D&D?
No.
So we obviously are people who haven't played the game that watch the film, but this was made for, and we enjoyed it, which means first of all you don't have to have played D&D in order to enjoy the
watch the
film.
movie.
Yeah. But secondly, I know when watching like things you did, like, top 10 things on mojo.com that you didn't know about Dungeons and Dragons, a lot of them mentioned how much of the game was brought in. And I think if you are a D&D player, watching the film would have been a very nice experience, because you would have sat there and be like, oh look, it's and then been able to name like the different. So for example, that, like I said, that fat dragon, overweight dragon, is part of D&D. Also the box, the box with the tongue and the teeth, that's part of D&D. So like they brought in a lot of
creatures.
Yeah. Now, I think it was the producer of the film, I stand to be corrected, but he gave this description of the film, which I actually thought was a brilliant description of the film. He said it is a Guardians of the Galaxy toned movie in a Tolkien-like universe. Now, Tolkien wrote the Lord of the Rings trilogy and The Hobbit. So if you don't know who Tolkien is, that's who Tolkien is. So think of that whole realm or universe, and then put Guardians of the Galaxy in there. That is this film.
Which is what I felt about the trailer. Remember I said it.
I remember you saying that, yes.
It looks like it's got a Guardians of the Galaxy, because it's like these
not your average heroes.
Sort of
thieves.
Stupid thieves.
Yeah, exactly. That's exactly what Guardians
and weren't the Guardians of the Galaxy
kind
of weren't they? Not really.
They were thieves.
They were,
the Guardians
right?
of the Galaxy Volume 1 starts off with them all trying to steal the purple Infinity Stone. I think it was the Power Stone. I can't remember.
Yeah, it is the Power Stone.
Yeah. And that's how Guardians all come together. And the funny part is Bradley Cooper's in the movie.
Yeah.
A mini version of Bradley Cooper. It was slightly weird, but he was in the movie.
Yeah.
And if you don't know who Bradley Cooper is, he plays Rocket Raccoon.
That's right.
And if you haven't watched, Ryan, you need to watch Guardians Volume 3. We need to do that one.
Yes.
I thoroughly enjoyed Guardians Volume 3. But Rocket is actually a very big part of Guardians Volume 3.
Oh yes, that's right. I actually heard about that. I was trying to think if it was they were going to make a spin-off of it, or if they made the Guardians 3. I just remember something about Rocket and not knowing his backstory.
Yeah, they get into his backstory.
Okay. I want to watch that one.
Yeah, it was
not coming up next. Not yet.
Not yet.
Hopefully soon.
Coming soon, yeah. So, in an interview with SFX magazine, Michelle Rodriguez, who plays Helga, also known as what's her name? Letty. What's her name in Fast and Furious?
Maybe.
Let something.
Let it happen.
No.
Let it be fast.
Anyway, so she revealed that in order to make her character Holger Kilgore a more authentic barbarian, Ryan, you're not ready for this. Are you ready for this?
10 pounds of muscle.
No, not that.
Oh.
She grew out all her armpit hair.
What?
So that was real.
No.
Yes.
No.
It was not glued on it.
Shame for her husband.
That was hers truly, right there.
Her husband, her kids.
And then also, so she said she really felt the part. Really, she felt it. She'd move her arm and feel the part. And then she also said she gained a good 15 pounds of muscle. That's insane. Yeah, and she said she's still having a hard time losing that muscle. And I've had to add a new size to my wardrobe.
Oh, sure. I must say, while I was watching this, my wife sort of walked past or popped on, and she was like, "Oh my word!" I'm like, "That's right." And she's like, "I know."
And she was gang.
She was so cool.
Yeah, no, she was cool. Yeah, she was dumb but cool. She had like no brains, but all the muscle. Her. That was literally a role.
The way she just like just wiped them out.
The axe, when they're about to chop off her head, like, what do you clean it with?
Yeah.
Like, seriously, you're about to get your head chopped off, and this is what you're concerned with?
Oh, the axe. Oh, how do you know? No, the extend something. Like, wait. What do you clean it with? No. Oh, and then she's like.
No, yeah, it was very, and even the camera shots,
yes.
And like just the overall storyline, like it wasn't anything you didn't expect. Like I remember walking out of the theater and thinking, I've never ever watched anything like that. Like there's nothing, there's similarity. So when you say Guardians, I'm like, okay, yeah, we can pull that similarity. There's obviously like the whole Lord of the Rings feel, universe, not feel, because Lord of the Rings isn't a comedy by any means. A lot of people also said that they got inspiration from The Princess Bride, which I can agree with. I don't know if you remember Princess Bride. It's a very, I personally don't like The Princess Bride. It's a very old So what happens is this princess gets captured, and then this princess to go on a quest to save her, and there's this giant rat. But it's all like these old 80s like animatronics, and you know, like it's like an 80s film, like yeah. So they say that, which I get where they're coming from, that the Princess Bride inspired this film. Other people say like the Goonies inspired. Yeah, so there's lots of like different inspiration that like pulled together to put it together type of thing. And also the cast is very different.
Like it's a very cast.
Yeah, it's like a very, I mean, the fact that you have Michelle Rodriguez with Chris Pine.
Like who would have expected her to play that kind of character?
Exactly. And then you have Rege Jean Page, who did something completely different to anything he's ever done before. Hugh Grant,
he seems to be playing that sort of role lately.
He's on a villain tip, but it wasn't like Guy Ritchie. It wasn't that same. It wasn't Guy Ritchie vibes.
In this movie, he did that line that we spoke about. You know that he did.
No, Hugh Grant. There's
when he did it, I was like,
it's like Owen Wilson's. Wow.
Yeah.
Like every Owen Wilson.
Everyone's like, oh, if you didn't know.
It's a trademark.
Yeah.
It wouldn't be Owen Wilson without wow. So Hugh Grant also has his he has his moments. But it was cool from the perspective of it wasn't that over dramatic villain.
No.
But he was the villain, yeah.
It's something you can actually watch with your kids.
Yeah. Yeah, no, it was. And then also like just like the difference. So first of all, you know, the whole where they were going through the mirror, like that whole sequence was so cool. It was so cleverly done and filmed. And then obviously the end fight, like I personally did not see that coming. Like it was nice that it wasn't predictable. And also it truly did feel like a D&D campaign where. And I remember listening to an interview where someone said, when playing D&D, like you throw the dice, and if you throw a 4, you throw a 4. You know, like you can't help it, but like so. Often when playing the game, you have a character that like has weird powers, and you're like, okay, I don't know how on earth I'm supposed to use that power, but anyway. And then the game goes on, and because it's all thrown, it's all based on the throw of a dice. Everything's by chance type of thing.
Yeah.
And the movie felt like that. Like it wasn't. Like, you know how normal films will have like certain ways that the film goes. This was kind of like, okay, we're playing a game. Then, you know, like, okay, this is our first challenge. Okay, we just got out of that one because luckily Ryan threw it in 11.
So you don't actually quite know where it could go.
Yeah, it could go anyway.
Which is my kind of film.
Yeah,
I like that.
Good. And even like the comedy was brilliant. Like and from the start of the film, the comedy was so good. The way Chris Pine was trying to like keep waiting for Jonathan, and then he tells his backstory. And
Are you Jonathan?
He keeps, you know, this story would make so much more sense if Jonathan was here. Like, and then
because that was their plan, obviously.
Yeah, because Jonathan had wings.
But obviously Jonathan wasn't in on it, right?
No,
clearly not.
And that's the funny part is you think that Jonathan is like a friend of his, you know, like he needs Jonathan there because Jonathan will understand. But nope, he just needed Jonathan there because Jonathan was a bird, and therefore they could jump out the window. And the funny part was they were actually going to give them. They were going to let them off.
Yeah,
man.
They let them off anyway.
Yeah, no. So it was the comedy was very good. Yeah. The storyline was very good.
I'm definitely gonna watch it again.
Yeah, and the actors. I think the actors all did a very, very good job. I would like to see a sequel. I don't know if they could pull it off though. That's the only problem. It's like, I suppose they could but like, I don't know. Could they pull it off? Would they pull it off?
I don't know why, but
you almost don't want them to.
You can do something like the Emoji Movie. Was it the Emoji Movie? No, it was Wreck-It Ralph. Remember Wreck-It Ralph?
Oh, yes.
And how they sort of broke like a dimension type of thing. So even though it's kind of a game, so
I suppose,
maybe you can do something different with
and
that.
I think there is a lot of like, there's a lot to what's the word, like experiment within the world of D&D.
I would like to know with D&D fans, like how they sitting and watching it, how there were a lot of those, oh my word, Oh, and there's, those kind of moments that had happened.
I think there were quite a few.
Mm.
Because like the monsters, if not all the even the when the first time you see what was she called, the Druid? What was she again? You know, one of the girl that could change into the shapeshifter.
I don't remember.
Whatever.
Her name.
Yeah, but the first animal or the first thing she turned into was that owlbear.
Yeah,
that apparently
owlbear.
is it's true to that. That creature is in D&D. So like even from there, it was they were pulling, which was
I enjoyed her that whole character. What was she like? She's a shapeshifter.
She's basically a shapeshifter. And even the part where she turns into a deer, and then Michelle Rodriguez's character's like, so she did turn into a deer.
Right.
Because she kept saying a deer, and Chris Pine was like, we don't need her to be a deer.
Yeah.
Like, we do, So unfortunately, despite Dungeons and Dragons' honor among thieves, box office, and critical success, no news has come yet for a sequel. So there might be a sequel, there might not be a sequel. We'll have to just wait and see.
Where are the directors known from?
I know that I think it is one of the directors was involved in Spider-Man No Way Home. I think it was Spider-Man No Way Home.
Jonathan Goldstein.
The funny part is one of the directors' name is Jonathan, and the bird's name was Jonathan.
Oh, right. Okay, 2001 to 2011. No, those are short films, features. Clad with a Chance of Meatballs.
For real?
Writer, not director.
Still.
He's actually, okay, it looks like I've got the writer here, because he's written a lot.
Who's that, Jonathan?
Yeah, Spider-Man Homecoming, writer.
Was it Homecoming? Okay. I thought it was No Way Home. Yeah.
And involved in television as well. So that's Jonathan. Then John, is it Francis DeLay? This is he's 37 years old.
Who's that, Jonathan?
John Francis.
So weird that John and Jonathan were the directors. Yeah.
Also a writer.
I think both of them are
Major writer.
Yeah.
So we have
in fact, John actually cited, so the films that one of the directors cited as influences on this film was The Princess Bride, which was made in 1987. Ryan, I feel like we should watch that movie just because you haven't watched it.
The what?
Princess Bride.
The what?
The Princess Bride. It's not, you need to watch it, right? I know it sounds like The Princess... we should watch it, right?
As long as it's not Barbie, it's fine.
Monty Python and the Holy Grail, 1975. I haven't watched that. The Lord of the Rings and Indiana Jones. All right, do you know that Indiana Jones, the new Indiana Jones, is out? It's currently featuring at the Cannes Film Festival in France.
Ah,
right.
Wow.
Harrison Ford is there. He's still in it. He's still Indiana Jones. Yes.
Still solving things. What do they call them?
Archaeological mysteries.
Ridley's, whatever.
I don't know. Yeah. So this film, as in the setting of this film was actually set in a place called the Forgotten Realms. And that is also true to D&D. And even like at one point you see Chris Pine and Michelle Rodriguez, their characters walking through that very icy land. That's a land known from D&D. So like the different lands were very they were very true to the story. Ryan, I didn't notice this the first time that I watched it in cinemas, but second time watching it, I could see the set extensions. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah.
Like I was like, wait, why is it so noticeable?
It's almost like there's a depth that's missing.
Yes. Yeah. It was weird.
Yeah,
I didn't notice it the first time.
Probably more panning and tilting shots.
Probably, but it was specifically
so whenever
like,
it's moving,
you know, when they first went to see Hugh Grant's character after he became Lord, whatever, they go to his castle. You could just see the castle was not there. Like you could just see that castle in. Yeah, so it's just like, what's happening, guys?
So, I mean, on one of their interviews, they really gave an ups to like CG artists and how hard they're working. I know previously. We had spoken about the fact that like CG artists are like really overworked, especially in this time and age that we live in.
Yeah. Because everything is just like, well, you know, in the movie at one point with the sorcerer, they were like, well, just use magic.
Yeah.
That's like, I feel like
Exactly.
that's all CG artists are like, well, just use CG. And the CG artist is like, you can't
It
just
doesn't
use...
just work like that.
And they're like, why
Yeah.
not? Yeah, that was... I feel like all CG artists out there were like,
There you go. It's unnecessary.
Like, you don't have to use CG for everything, which is true. And I think it can also be a lot more expensive to actually go the CG route sometimes.
Depends.
I suppose it does depend.
They
but,
actually do CG because it's cheaper.
But is it always cheaper?
Yeah, I think so.
Really?
I think so, yeah. It depends on what you're doing.
I suppose, yeah, it's cheaper to
If you're going to close off a big city block, you're going to pay a lot of money to close off that part. Then you're going to blow up some cars. Then you're going to hire a whole lot of people to come out and, safety officers, film crew. You got to get all the plane tickets. You got to get all the equipment. You got to get the car that someone's going to explode. You got to have firemen on site. There's a lot.
Or you could just go hunting for a dragon and find one.
Especially a fat one. That's why you've never found it, because
you died, and everyone who tried died trying.
Because it's just fat.
They're all in him. Yeah.
Otherwise, or you can get a CG artist, or you get someone like Michael Bay or Christopher Nolan, or those guys that are just like,
who can find a dragon. Christopher Nolan won't.
You keep going to the dragon thing.
Sorry.
I was watching Transformers over the weekend. I was just absolutely just looking at the fact that, like, I was trying to imagine how you put a shot list together where there's nothing there and you're going to fill it with CG.
Yeah,
because most of their shots, okay, you can say, yeah, just get a big wide shot of it. But like there's shots that are like zoomed in, because maybe that's like the close-up of Optimus Prime.
It's true, actually.
And like they specifically got that shot of nothing, just a city background.
That's his head right there.
Exactly, and they have to work out.
So
that's like how well they would have had to work out a shot list. Or is it that they just got a whole lot of just close-up of shots, and they're like, okay, let's go through our close-up shot. Okay, that one looks nice. All right, let's pick that one for Optimus Prime.
Do you think it would have worked?
No, I think no ways.
Yeah.
No ways. But like just how well they play, and like they're moving shots as well. Like this is the part where, so in other words, they had everything absolutely perfectly worked
Planned
out.
to a T, yeah.
That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work.
That's a lot of work. But
everyone who's been dreaming of becoming a CG artist is now like, never mind, I'll go.
No, the CG artist's job is nice.
Okay, I suppose it's the cinematographer.
Because
and
before
the
that, they've got a story, they've got a storyboard, they've got references, they get given like everything. It's not just, we need a robot. It's like they got like there's. I feel sorry for concept artists as well, because they sit there and they take painstaking like hours putting a nice concept together with the color and the beautiful background, and it feels glorious.
Then it gets rejected.
And all it is that's just so that the CG artist can look at it and be like, okay, so that's what we're creating.
And then they create something, and the concept artist is like, that is not what I drew.
And it never makes it like that. Anyway, so that's just, I guess that's another ups to the CG artists. They're painful hours, and they're all from Canada. Yeah, because whenever you look at those things, they're like Vancouver,
It's true.
ILM in Vancouver.
It's so cold there. Everyone just stays indoors and
works.
Creates.
It's nice.
Yeah, no.
It's nice.
Yeah. No, but this was definitely a good film.
Good film.
It was a good film. It was a breath of fresh air.
Fantasy as well.
Yes, but it really was a breath of fresh air. Like we haven't had anything.
When
like
else have we had a fantasy film?
It's actually very true.
Like Lord of the Hobbit.
The Hobbit, yes.
Was there any other movie that we did after that?
We must have.
That's like fantasy.
Was Adam Project was sci-fi.
Yeah, that was sci-fi. Yeah.
Okay, I suppose I get what you're saying. Like adventure fantasy.
It's that very old school, like metal, gold, the armor and the strong people.
I can also, obviously there was the Narnia, but that was also quite a while back.
Yeah, that's
then there was the Hobbit.
Yeah. So it's been a while.
It's been a while, yeah.
There you go. So maybe we need to get off the superheroes.
Yeah.
And let's get back onto fantasy.
There we go.
Yeah, we need a bit of both, Yeah, where's Peter Jackson? Peter Jackson, what
is Peter Jackson doing?
What's happening, bro?
Peter Jackson, yo, we need you.
Yeah. Imagine this movie done by Peter Jackson. Now there's a film we need.
But this one was still good.
Yeah, no, it was great.
I'm not gonna hate on this
No, it
one.
was
Like
great.
this one, I didn't feel like it needed anything
That was great.
more.
I think we can go either way. So if you're familiar with the game and you watch the movie, it was like, wow. Or maybe if you watch the movie and now get familiar with the game, it's still going to be wow.
Yeah. And if you are familiar with the game or you love the game and you hated the movie, please comment down below because we'd actually be interested to know.
Tell us why.
Tell
us why.
Tell us why. Yeah. But this has been the movie show.
On your favorite RSPS.
Until next week.
Cheers.
Peace.